Hello, welcome to the Jackie Tan podcast. Before we get into this week's episode, I have a favor to ask. If you could take 30 seconds to rate this podcast 5 stars, it would mean the world to me. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it means that I can continue to do work that's really meaningful to me, and of course, continue to bring interviews of incredible people to you and continue to help you, inspire you, educate you, and hopefully empower you to be the best that you can be. So 30 seconds is all it takes to like and subscribe, and I would be forever grateful. Welcome back to the Jackie Tan podcast, where we explore incredible stories of individuals who push the boundaries of human performance and the human experience. I'm your host, Jackie Tan, and today I'm honoured to introduce a para-athlete whose journey is a testament to resilience, determination, and the relentless pursuit of excellence, and also a gold medal. My guest today is Sam Tait. He's represented Australia in sit skiing at both the PyeongChang 2018 and Beijing 2022 Paralympic Games. And despite not achieving the results that he aimed for, his spirit remains unbroken and his hunger for redemption is stronger than ever as he sets his sights for the 2026 Winter Paralympics in Milan. Sam's grit, determination, and ability to seek discomfort to become a better athlete and person is something that I really, really respect. His willingness to say yes to new experiences, I really admire, because I think when we say yes to experiences that excite us, but also scare the absolute shit out of us, which some could argue is the same thing, but either way, I think it helps us grow into the people that we are, and something I think that is so important. So I'm really excited to share Sam's story with you all. So let's do this. This is Sam Tait. Sam, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Welcome to the podcast.
You're welcome, Jackie. Thanks for having me here.
I should probably say welcome back, because it's the second round we're doing this. Yep. But we're finally here. And for people who don't know you, you're a 2-time Paralympic sit skier. You're the first person with paraplegia to climb Mount Kosciuszko, which is phenomenal. And you've even done a documentary about it, which was so great. And I'm going to put a link in the bio because everyone needs to watch that. It was really fantastic.
Thank you.
You were ranked 6th once upon a time in the world for the CrossFit Adaptive Games. And you laughed at me last time because you said that was a long time ago. You were kind of just like,
it was a long time ago, yeah,
brushing it off. I'm like, but you did it. So claim it. And something that's, I don't think yet in your biography anywhere on the internet, and that is you're now an actor. You're in a short film called Unstoppable.
Yep.
It's about a paraplegic former defence contractor, played by yourself, who must reclaim his strength and self-belief to survive in this high-octane cat and mouse action thriller. And you told me no one can see it, and that's a crime.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Yeah, so at the moment we're waiting to release it to the world, I guess, on one platform, one social platform, so it's not, I guess, all over the shop in YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I think we're trying to release that at the end of winter, so around like September, October.
Wow.
I'm not sure when, but it was just in Sydney Film Festival in early June.
Yeah.
So I went up there and had a look at that and watched that on the big screen, which was really cool.
So that would have been the first time you saw it?
No, I've seen it probably 10 times, with like from basically the first edit to all the way to the last edit. And I'll tell you, sound, music in a movie makes it so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah.
I was a little like not scared but hesitant. I was like, oh, this is. I mean, I've never acted before, so not obviously not my best work, but I was like, oh, this is pretty. I don't know, weird to see myself. And then once the music came on, I was like, oh, it actually like the music, I guess, helps take away from the acting a little bit.
Yeah, it
So yeah,
creates it helps with creating the emotion or the
yeah,
atmosphere that you're trying to create.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Phenomenal.
yeah, it was really cool to see the final edit and then watch it on the big screen
Yeah.
in Newtown in Sydney.
Oh, amazing. I have so many questions, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
You're a soon to be business owner, as if you didn't have enough on your plate already.
Yep.
And obviously, it's important that we give listeners a background to how you got to where you are today.
Hmm.
But I want to ask a question left field, but it's not left field because you know what's coming. Listeners don't. What comes to your mind when you hear Southern Highlands Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, that was one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences that I've done. It was, I'm not a dancer, nor am I good at, I guess, flowing or being as smooth. I don't know. Um, but yeah, one of my amazing friends, Emily Turland, asked me to do Dance with the Stars in Southern Highlands, and I like to, I guess, challenge myself and do things out of my comfort zone. And this was definitely the most challenging thing I've ever done, and the most uncomfortablest thing I've ever done. And I just wanted to get up the stage. And if you watch the video, I'm just kind of looking at Em. I'm just focusing so hard not to stuff up the moves, and it was so rewarding, and I loved every moment of it. But I would be hesitant to do it again.
Oh, really? No repeat?
No, I don't know. I mean,
Never
look,
say
if I
never.
got asked, probably, yeah. Let's be honest, I probably would.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I don't know how dancers can remember like five dances in one night. I was struggling to do one. So
Well, it was
very.
really beautiful.
Thank you. It turned out. Yeah, it turned out really good.
Yeah. And it's crazy that someone like you says it's the scariest thing you've ever done. Meanwhile, you go down very steep, snowy hills at crazy
Yeah,
speeds. It's ridiculous and crash at times.
yeah. I've had a few crashes. I think for me, it's if I stuff up, it's only gonna affect me. But if I was when I was dancing with M, if I stuff up, it's affecting her as well. So maybe my brain was like, oh, when I'm skiing, I can deal with the consequences because
It's
I don't know,
just you.
it's just me. So yeah. Um, and I've been skiing for 10 years and I was dancing for like 6 months. So there's a
Oh,
big
fair enough.
difference there.
Yeah. Fair call.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to age 22. You're in a motorbike accident. Tell us about that day.
Yeah. So 22 years old, I had a Ninja Kawasaki 300 motorbike on my L's for about maybe 4 or 5 months, not long. But just kind of I was just kind of getting into the understand how the bike worked and like feeling the road, feeling the bike, knowing when to brake. Um, and it probably was one of the best days that I've had in my lives. There's a few probably that can beat it, but that day I will put down like I don't look at that day and I'm think that was a bad day. That was still a good day. The outcome of the day probably not great, but the outcome of that motorbike accident, severing my spine, leaving me with no feeling from the waist down, changed my life and led me on the last 10, 11 years of skiing, being a professional athlete, 2 Paralympic Games, and get to travel the world and ski and represent Australia. So if you think about it in terms of how good my life has been since, it's been extraordinary, and I wouldn't change much. I used to say I wouldn't change anything, but I think the older I get and the more time I have to maybe reflect on my previous life, and not how easy it was, but just how things, um, how you didn't really need to think about traveling or accessibility into a building and stairs. I mean, I do a winter sport, so snow is so bad for wheelchairs. Um, Not the best sport, or not the best sport I could have picked for being in a wheelchair, but um, yeah, there's, if I go like over the last 10 years, I think my mindset has changed. With, I wouldn't change anything too. Yeah, there'd be things that I would change, not to the extent that would change what I did, but just to make life a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you would say that you're content?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been content with my accident and my injury. I haven't really been, I think it took me a few years to become um, okay with myself and feel okay as who I was in a wheelchair. I think skiing helped with that a lot, because when you're skiing, well, when I'm skiing, I don't feel like I have a disability. So I think getting out on the snow back in the first 4 years was a huge mental rehab and mental um, healing for me. So finding the sport that I could focus on and get endorphins from, get outside, get in the sun, get adrenaline from as well, really helped me accept who I was and kind of, accept who I was and kind of like start to love who I was again. Um, as a different person in a wheelchair.
And prior to that, you never had any ambition to ski professionally?
Oh God, no.
No?
No. We would do
Right.
family holidays in ski, as ski trips, and it was just recreation, just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But I know mum threw us into a cross country race as kids, and we rocked up in like our ski jackets, ski pants, and these other kids are wearing like your lycra suits. And I was
Right.
like, what are we doing here? This is stupid. So that was probably the start of, well, the only thing I did as a kid in ski racing. Um, but no ambitions to be, in any aspect of life, to be an elite athlete.
Yeah.
I don't
Wow.
think I had that mindset, nor I don't think I um, had the motivation to kind of put all your effort and training and everything you do into a sport. I didn't have a sport that I could pick back then either. So yeah.
Why?
Um, I don't know. I just was happy with full-time job, and just wanted to get a house and move out of home and just kind of start that start of things really.
Yeah. The Australian dream.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no aspirations of being an elite athlete at all.
And so then what do you remember of the accident? Because I the last time we spoke, very briefly,
Very briefly. Yeah.
you were awake
Yeah. So
during the accident.
yeah, the accident happened at 4 p.m. on the 27th of April, 2013. And the last thing I remember is we were going to a food store to get food. We were on our way home, and I was like, I know where this food store is, but the person in front of me didn't. So I think he was only maybe 100 meters in front. So I was probably going a bit, maybe not fast, but faster to catch him. And that's the last thing I kind of remember. Well, I remember. And then apparently when I was on the ground, I was trying to get up, and like I was pretty relaxed and talking, and my mates thought nothing was wrong. But then there's a doctor there who was in the traffic, and he was like touching my legs and, can you feel this? And I couldn't obviously sit up And then the next thing I remember is flying over the Harbour Bridge, and then being in the MRI machine in one of the most pain I've ever been in. I remember just having that morphine button. I just kept pressing it every 5 seconds. Because you're in an MRI machine, you can't move, and it's like so claustrophobic. It's right in front of your face. And, yeah, I think I just wanted to get out, obviously. And then the last thing I remember was laughing with my spinal surgeon before I was to go into surgery. I have no idea what he said, um, but I just remember he's joking around with him for a bit, and then I wake up 3 days. I come to 3 days later, and I've got my family around me, and then telling me that I broke my back and will never walk again. Really.
So during that time, you're in the MRI. Are you completely by yourself during this period, or is your family then notified they're there?
My
Or
Yeah, so I think it took me a few hours to get to hospital.
oh
Um,
wow,
so well, my accident happened at 4 p.m. whatever afternoon, Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, I think. And I think I was getting surgery at 12, like midnight that night, I think. Um,
wow.
so
What
I mean,
was the surgery?
I had a fusion of, let me get this right, my T10 to L2 spine.
Right.
So I think that's 5 vertebrae fused together with 2 titanium rods and 5 screws, or 10 screws
Right.
on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're told you're never going to walk again.
hmm
And what happens then?
I didn't really believe him.
Yeah.
Because you're 22 years old, you're a young male who you think you're invincible, as I guess most males do. So I thought I'd be back at work in a week and 2 weeks, and then that didn't happen. Weeks went to months and months, years, and um, I guess I had to kind of start changing my mindset of this is actually my life now. Um, let's accept it. I mean, I accept it pretty quickly. I think I cried once with Dad in hospital, maybe a week after, and then I just kind of wanted to get to rehab and get out of hospital, really, because hospital back then when I was in hospital, it was a pretty dark place. Like physically, like there was no like natural sunlight. You're on the bottom floor of the hospital. Um, it was pretty run down. Uh, and yeah, it was pretty average. But now they've got a brand new um, spinal rehab center in Ryde, and it's incredible. So if I was there, it would have been nice. But I mean, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't
And
great.
no, it doesn't sound great. um, do you remember your first time getting into a wheelchair?
Yes, I think it was maybe a week after my surgery. I think I got up and I was learning to push, learning to do like wheel stands and stuff. Um, I
What
can't
went
really
through your
remember.
mind? Do you remember going, "Oh, this doesn't seem so bad," or "I can do this," or "This is hard," or like,
Um, I don't think it was. This is hard. It was kind of like learning. I guess learning how to skateboard or something, or ride a bike. Really, it was kind of fun, or it was. I kind of just wanted to get in it for like more than. I think I was only allowed 10 minutes at a day because of. I guess my muscles don't work in my legs, so they're just trying to not help my body get used to the new blood pressure or regulating my blood around the body. So I couldn't sit up for long enough or longer periods to be able to have a proper go in a wheelchair. But I was in there for maybe 10, 20 minutes a day, just kind of going around, feeling it out. And I mean, to say this chair wasn't made for me, it was an oversized high backrest, um, bigger wheelchair. But it was I remember sitting it for the first time, but I don't remember what I was thinking. I think it was my brain was like, oh yeah, this won't last long type of thing.
Yeah. And then you get to rehab, and what does rehab look like?
So I got to Prince of Wales Hospital Friday afternoon at about 5 o'clock, where everyone's knocking off for the weekend, and I go into this like ward of 4 beds in this room, and I'm in one bed, and it's a really dark, cold place, and no one really knew I was coming. It was, I don't know, it was just chaos. They gave me some big bumpy, well, big old wheelchair for the weekend so I could get out of bed and move around. Um, and the visitors weren't allowed. Visitors' hours had ended, so I got there kind of by myself, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, this is shit.
Totally.
I was like, this is rock bottom. This is definitely rock bottom. Um, and then so I had the weekend kind of, I guess, by myself, and then Monday I met your team of doctors, your psychologists, your physios, your OTs. I can't remember what else, but they're the main ones. And then you kind of start rehab twice a day. So you're up at, I think it was like 6:30. You go to breakfast. You got rehab from like 7 till 9, and then you go lunch, and then rehab in the afternoon, and then wheelchair skills to learn how to get up gutters, go downstairs, transfer in and out of your wheelchair. It was full on Monday to Friday for till I got out, so about 2.5, 3 months.
So that 2.5 to 3 months is you learning how to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but I was one of the like the quick cases. People were in there for 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just got up, did my rehab, and then I just wanted to get home. So I just wanted to show them that I was capable enough to be out of the real world, out in the real world, as soon as I can. But in saying that, hospital taught me nothing. I learnt all what I know now, what I do now after I got home, because hospital is so clinical and I guess best practice, best case. You've got a nurse that comes to you every morning with your medication and help you with your bowel routine and go to the toilet and stuff. And then you've got lunch served for you. You've got your physios helping you transfer and OTs. And when you get home, you've got none of that. So you have to learn your own ways of figuring out how to do things. And you're not in a wheelchair accessible place like a hospital. So there's little things that you got to, well, not little things, I guess.
A lot of everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. So getting home was like, it was great. I went out way too much with the boys, and I didn't really know what else to do. I was training, but then the weekends was just kind of at the pub. Not great. Well, not great, but I think it was a way for everyone to kind of move on. Like we just kind of went back to what we were doing prior, I guess. So we did that for a while, and then I would move down to Perisher for winters and start skiing, and that slowly, or pretty quick, I guess, took over that lifestyle.
Right. So you didn't think, let's try skiing to get my mind off anything. It was just something that happened because you guys go up to Perisher.
No, so I saw skiing when I was in hospital, and then I was like, I want to try that this year. So my accident happened in April. I was out of hospital August, I think, mid-August, let's just say. Oh, late August. And then I was like, let's go try skiing. And the spinal doctor, he's like, "Oh, I don't recommend it because it takes a good 6 months to a year for your spine to fuse with the new rods and screws." Um, so I went anyway down to Thurbo.
As you do.
Well, I didn't do anything crazy, but calculated the risks, and the mental health risks benefits outweighed, I
Yeah.
guess, at that time, the physical risks. Um, and then tried skiing, did it for 2 days, 6 hours a day, and loved it, and just knew that was going to be what I was going to do. And the next year, yeah, moved down to Perisher, the lodge, and here we are.
So you, okay, hold up. So you get on what's the process of getting on like, is a sit ski available for you to just use, and
Yeah.
then you get on it and you're getting used to it? Like, what's happening?
So the process is you have to go through a company or organization called Disabled Winter Sports Australia.
Right.
You have to be a member of them, which is, I think, $90 a year. Then you get free equipment hire and free equipment hire and guide access. And then you got to book a lesson. So we hired a sit ski from them, booked a lesson, got in the sit ski, and then went up Friday Flats in Thredbo, which is the flattest run, I think, in Australia. And then did that, I don't know, probably 20, 30 times. And then slowly got better and better, and just kind of trying, because they hold you with ropes so you don't go flying away and hit someone.
Cool.
Yeah. So I was trying, I think by the end of the second day, I was off the ropes and I was just kind of slowly doing turns down the hill, which was cool. And then the next year moved on from that.
Can we back up? I know nothing about skiing. Like, I've seen it. It's phenomenal. It's ridiculous watching a crash. But so when they're, so you said you're attached with ropes, like they're holding you. So does that mean those first few times you're just going straight down in a straight line?
No, you turn him. So
you are turning. You have to. Do you have to turn to keep stability?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Good to know.
So his ropes, he can pull the left side to go left. It's kind of like a sleigh almost, a little bit, if it works in the same context. So he can pull left for me to go left a bit and pull right, or we can pull both to kind of slow me down.
Yeah. And what are you thinking during that whole process?
What was I thinking? I think I was just like, this is great because my wheelchair is not with me. I don't feel like I've got a disability. So, and you're on the same playing field as everyone else. So, I just wanted to learn and be able to go faster and learn how to carve a ski. So,
and at what stage? I mean, are you doing this then every day? Like, how often are you on the snow? And then at what point do you go, actually, I'm gonna try for the Paralympics?
Yes. So it was the year after I moved to Perisher because my parents bought a ski lodge around the same time as my accident. So it was kind of fate that everything happened. Moved to Perisher, had 10-day ski lessons with one of my best mates who taught me how to ski. Oh, sorry, he wasn't a mate back then. He's a very good mate now. Taught me how to ski, and then I had another mate, Jack, who I don't really know how he managed to do this, but he was working in the Navy, but he managed to be somehow in Perisher for at least 2 to 3 months that first year, and then he would basically I think it was on night shift, so he would finish Thursday night, drive to Perisher Friday, ski Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning, drive back Monday for work Monday night, and then he'll take holidays, and he did that for, I think, a good 3 years. So we would just ski mostly every day and kind of just try and push the terrain, and we made little video edits that I look back to now and I'm like, oh, it's a bit cringe, but it is cool to see the progression over the last 10 years. So Jack, without him, I don't think I wouldn't have been skiing as much, that's for sure. And then one day when we were skiing, the coach of the Australian Paralympic team came up and asked if I wanted to just ski past, and came up asked if I wanted to do a talent camp for Paralympic, or I guess to see where you're at, if I'm okay.
If you're good enough.
Good enough, yeah, exactly. So I did that, and then that kind of just snowballed really fast.
So how long was that after the accident?
About a year. There's the next year's 2014. And the 2014 and 2015, I did the talent camp.
And what happens after the talent camp?
So what was that? That was 2015. So I did the talent camp, and then was starting to train with the team.
Yeah, because they said you're pretty good. Well, yeah, we'll take you, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, great.
But then I got a pressure sore on my butt, so I had to go home for basically the whole of winter, and was just in bed for 2 months. 2015, yeah, 2015. And then obviously didn't get to ski much that year. So the next year.
Question.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're not allowed to in the chair at all? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
To hear? Really?
Yeah. I mean, you can get up and go to the toilet, get some food.
Yeah.
But like the best way to get to heal is to get pressure off your skin.
Right.
So I'm basically lying down in my bed for most of the day on my side. 2016 was my first full-time skiing, I think. Yeah. And then I think we did 1 week in Perisher, went to Hotham for a week, and first day, first run, there was a bit of snow, and I high-sided, so fell down the hill, if that makes sense. And kind of...
Aren't you always falling down a hill? How else are you falling?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
Are you going like forward over your kind of head, or like to the side?
Kind of like to the side down the hill.
Okay. Oh, right.
Gosh,
too many ways to crash.
Oh, then I subluxed my shoulder.
Oh.
So I was out for maybe a month and a bit that season. But then went overseas at the end of that year for 5 months and had the best season you could have asked for. So,
and then 2018 PyeongChang.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How'd you feel leading up to that? And do you have an understanding of like what you're up against, the competitors, what kind of times you got to do? And
yeah, kind of. It was my first game, so I wasn't going to win. I was going to be competitive, to kind of flush the nerves out, understand the pressure of the games. You've got everyone watching, the media, like the hype is huge. I felt really nervous. The hill, I don't like seeing the hill for the first time if it's the first time I'm going to race it, just because I lose sleep overthinking the hill if it's going to be more gnarlier than it is.
So are you saying that you need to go down at once before you do it? Or you prefer to just rock up and race it?
No. prefer
Okay,
to.
right.
No, God no.
I was like, what do you mean?
No. But in the downhill discipline, which is the fastest event and the most
Yeah,
dangerous, you
yeah,
get training days on the hill because you need to
right.
know where you're going, and you get air, and you need to know. Like it's dangerous if you have no idea where you're going and you're going off the wrong way, basically. Yeah. So I had a few training days on the hill, and then we had, which was good. So you kind of understand the hill and you kind of know where you can let it go and, um, I guess, hold back and push and stuff. So that was nice to kind of get that and then have my first downhill run and came 11th, I think it was. Yeah, 11th. Yeah. Yeah. And once the downhill is over, you can kind of relax because you know you're not going to go as fast as that in the next fence. So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, sorry, what are the next events for you?
so downhill Super G, which is super giant slalom, which is the speed event as well. And then you got GS, which is a tech event, and slalom. I don't do a slalom, which is the small one with the flags or the poles really close together, and
Yeah.
you kind of hit them. Yeah,
And sorry, what was the
GS giant slalom.
that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one you do?
yeah, I do downhill Super G and GS.
All right, sorry, it's the Super G.
Yeah,
What's that one?
that's like it's confusing. So downhill, it's basically the distance between the turns. So
Right.
downhill is about 50 to 100 plus meters between each gate. Super G, which is the one below downhill, is between 40 and 50 meters
So they're
between each.
closer.
Closer, yep, correct. So you're going slower because,
Oh,
yeah,
because you're turning more, right? Gotcha.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then GS is 27 to 40 meters distance.
Right.
Yeah.
And you prefer
I prefer the speed events. I don't. I don't know why. It's just I don't know. I just like to let it run more, and you can kind of wouldn't say have more time to think, but it feels smoother. If
right.
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So what goes through your head when you're up there looking down
Mm.
and how does it work in terms, do they just go ready, set, go? Is there
Yeah,
a gun? Like how does it all work and what are you thinking when
yeah,
you're on the start line?
yeah. So the most nervous you are is probably one or two people out from the start because you're all lining up and you
Mm.
can see people go down and you're like, okay, and then you run through the course in your head and you're like, yep, I got this course. And then normally in a race they will say race ready, you're like, yep, and then they'll say 10 seconds and then he'll count down 10 and then within 5 seconds to -5 seconds is when you can go. So you have 10 seconds to go, um, and then you push out and then you go. But I don't know if I didn't hear him when I was in the start because I'm sitting there and I'm ready, and the guy he said 30 seconds or something, and I was like, okay, so we got 30 seconds, and then he went quiet, and then normally there's a beep for the start, and then it counts like three beeps counts down, and then that's when you can go. I'm sitting there and I'm like no beeps and look at the clock's ticking over. I look at him and like I'm just like waiting for something, and then one of the American coaches in the back was like, "Can he go?" And the guy's like, "Yeah," and I was like,
Oh shit.
"Fuck, okay." So I went, and then like I wasn't frazzled because once you pushed out, I was like, you got to switch on to racing," and I was like, let's just go, and I can remember every downhill course that I've raced and every downhill course that I've done. Um, and the like you get to the bottom, they are blurs. You don't really know what happened, but you somehow made it to the end alive or in the finish line, which is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, no shit that you're alive.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Made this one.
Yeah. Yeah, but once you finish a downhill, you never want to do it again because it's just the mindset you need to be in constantly for training and then competing at the downhill, the speed events. It's not easy. It's pretty hard because you've got to stay relaxed but stay focused and aware enough to react in split seconds, and then you've got to want to go fast and push the boundaries of crashing, not crashing type of thing.
How do you find those limits, like that line between going as fast as you can and, I mean, obviously practice, yes, but like...
I think back then it was definitely the age and my risk analysis was next to none, basically. I have noticed over the last few years, I wouldn't say I'm hesitant, but I am aware, or not aware, sorry, I'm more concerned about shit, this is fast type thing, as opposed to let's go fast. I think 2019 World Champs, the year after that, was the best. It was the best race I've ever done and finished, and the conditions were shocking. People were getting pulled from the race because they weren't safe conditions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my coach was like, do you want to race? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And in the training run before the downhill, I had tried something that didn't work out, and I did, I think, a few forward flips into the net, the side of the hill. And then I had to go back up and race in a few hours after that.
Oh, so that's like bad luck. You don't get to practice again.
No, so because downhill you have training runs.
Yeah.
And then normally they're not on the same day, but because of snowfall days before, we had to do, you can't run it downhill without doing one training day on it.
Right.
So we did one training run in the morning and then the race in the afternoon.
Oh.
So the training run I didn't finish, and then the race, I had to go back up and do the race. And I was like, okay, well, we know what not to do. Let's get past this corner, and then let's just see what happens after that, basically.
Wait, sorry. So past that corner, you don't know you haven't done the rest of the track?
Correct, but I knew where to go because you see video of it and you inspect the whole course, so you remember where the turns are and you know where you're going. But yeah, I hadn't skied it. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah. And where you crashed, was that like right in the middle, or was it towards the end, the
no,
beginning?
It was probably the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
With the 2022 Paralympics, a few crashes.
Yeah, tough campaign.
Yeah. Tell me about that, because I think, if I remember correctly, I either read or heard you say like that was your best, pre-campaign to the games.
Yeah, I had never felt more ready, and up to that point, I'd never felt more ready for a race, and I was so certain that I was going to be on the podium. Like, no one could not have told me otherwise.
Where did that certainty come from?
I don't know. I don't like to think about negative outcomes or focus on the negative things or what if this doesn't happen. It's so after Pyeongchang, we obviously went straight back into another 4 year cycle, and basically from that end of that downhill in Pyeongchang, I was like, I'm on the podium in China, and that was my mindset for 4 years. So getting to China and feeling so good, I felt at like everything felt like it was ready. And then the hill was gnarly. The start was hectic, and then you go down and you kind of get into it. And then if you were off line, it was like sugar. If you outside the track, it was like sugar stove. So you couldn't, at high speeds, if you're pressuring, you are in a downhill, you're going to lose the base of your ski. But if you stay on the track, which is kind of like grippy concrete, I guess, you'll be fine because your ski has a good edge and you can just dig in and ride it out. So yeah, I was waking up every day in China, not knowing how I was going to get on the podium, but just knowing that I don't know if this is going to be where I went wrong, but if I finish the downhill, I'm on the podium.
Mm.
And at where I crashed, the halfway point, I think I was 0.01 seconds from first place. So, I mean, look, we'll never ever know, will we? And I could just take the top half of that run and think that was money, that was on point, and move on from there. So, yeah, it's a hard one to swallow because I will never forget the feeling of when I crashed. So I want redemption in Italy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the first event for you?
Yeah.
So how do you collect yourself, your disappointment, the mindset, and go into the next?
Yeah. It was hard because I really wanted to finish that downhill, and I really wanted to obviously win a medal. But you go back, you go in the gondola on the way down by yourself, and you just kind of let out what emotions you need to let out, and then you move on. It's a ski race. It's not the end of the world. It sucks that it happened, but you've got 2 other races that you can still compete in. But yeah, downhill was the one that I felt most confident and most ready in. But then the Super G is the next day, so you just kind of you just move on. Really, you can't really fake. It is what it is. Yeah.
So what do you take from that experience? And, what'd you learn from that moving forward?
I don't know what I learned. I think just that I don't know. It is hard to sometimes talk about, but that race just kind of I don't even know what to say, to be honest. You just kind of I focus on what I did right and kind of bring that into the rest of my life, and that question stumped me, to be honest.
It's okay.
I don't know.
We can move on.
Yeah.
No problem. Well, I actually want to move on to your documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, was it the documentary that came to mind, or was it I want to climb Mount Kosciuszko? What came first?
I want to climb Kosciuszko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had done it before, right? Like assisted, and then So tell us about that.
Did it a year. It was the year of COVID, I think it was, of 2019 maybe. I can't remember, 2020 maybe, where I had a few mates, Tom, who taught me to ski, and then Pat, who used to be a VI skier. They kind of pulled me up on ropes and stuff to the top of Cosy. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool if we could, like, I could do this, like, myself or under my own power. And then that kind of started a whole conversation with a few friends, and we're like, let's actually figure out how we can do this. And then Lucas, who's a good mate down here, is a videographer. He's like, oh, we'll just film it and then do a little documentary for it, and then just see where that goes. And then it took a year to go and get all the processes kind of kind of ready and understand what we needed. Ropes. There was a sit ski, my hand cycle, my wheelchair. What else? Heaps of ropes. I think it was seven other people just carrying so much stuff. It was an expedition, that's for sure. It was. I underestimated how hard it was going to be. That's for sure.
Which could potentially be a good thing. It could have been on your side.
Well, I think we all did, because it was a beautiful day, and we started at midday, and we got back. Well, it took us, what was it, 7.5 hours to reach the summit, I think. And then it was pitch black on the way back, and no one was prepared for that. No one had head torches. One person had a head torch, so it was, and I don't think there was not much moonlight. So we probably should have started earlier than we did.
Okay, so in Adelaide, there's a teeny tiny little hill called Mount Lofty, and that is a fucking struggle. And I can't imagine 13 kilometers basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're pulling yourself. Your arms are taking you. That blows my mind. What was the training like leading up to that?
Nothing really changed. It was just ski erg, really. Nothing really changed. It was just ski erg and then weights. We didn't adapt any training for that specific hike.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't. It was just a long endurance session. So you weren't. It's not like I was lifting 80 kilos up a hill. Like I was pulling 80 kilos up a hill, but it was on a few pulley systems, and then we'll slide, and it just took a lot longer.
Right.
But yeah, it was.
And besides the wheelbarrow.
That was that was the quickest way. Was it the best way? Oh, probably not, but
good for camera.
Great for camera. But yeah,
I gotta say, Lucas was he the only one filming? It's just
yes, yeah. I think
great shots.
The drone shots were Bowen,
right?
I think, yeah. But Lucas did the editing and the majority of the pre stuff, and then a lot of the during as well.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Yeah. Did that help you with your camera experience when you get called up to be in a film?
Uh, I like being in front of the camera, but I'm also very shy. So it's a tricky one. Like the being on the little film we did, or I did, was a lot easier than being on film for the documentary.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, the documentary was kind of like um, it's about me and it's who I am and all that stuff. But when I was doing the film, I'm someone else, I guess, and I'm acting, so it was easier to kind of be more emotional or kind of put those emotions out. Because the one of the producers, I was like, look, I've never acted before in my life, and one thing that he said to me that'll probably stay with me forever is everyone who is here has already bought into the idea and they want it to do, like, they want to see this do well. So if you go over the top or anything, no one's gonna make you feel embarrassed about it. We want that type of stuff. We want that raw emotion, that like that good fake fighting type of stuff. So when I kind of heard that, I was like, oh yeah, obviously everyone's like here for a reason. And then the 2 days after that, towards the end of the training for the stunt scenes, I became a lot more vocal in training, and I'm more confident in like um, moving around and like doing like fight noises type of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know how to, yeah. So um, yeah, it is hard. I have a lot of respect for filmmaking and actors, and because it takes so much time as well,
Mm,
so
yeah.
much time. So um, yeah, it was cool to kind of see the other side of the of film is made as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd I guess what you got on your side being a professional athlete is that you're used to doing something over and over and over and over again until you got it
yeah,
like schmick.
yeah.
And I could assume that that's the same with acting and film.
Oh yeah,
Did
yeah.
you feel like that was on your side, that you were happy to go over and over again, or was it a challenge because it's different because you're having to play emotions
Yeah.
and bring that out?
Um, it was difficult. Or not difficult. It was tiring to kind of
Mm,
repeat everything
yeah.
for like 6 hours just on repeat. Um, but like there was one night where I was lying basically on a grease floor for probably 5 hours. Everyone's like, "Are you okay? You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sweating. I'm just chilling here at the moment." So, um, yeah, and I went into that experience just wanting to get the full blown whole experience of getting dirty, um, getting behind a camera, understanding like all the different people on the set, and just kind of immersing myself in every aspect. And I think I did do that, and it was such a, yeah, eye-opening experience. Like we'd start work at 4 p.m., we'd finish at 3 a.m. the next morning, and then wake up at probably like 10, 11, go outside for a bit, and then go back to the warehouse for the same night. So we did that 4 nights in a row. Um, and you had to get like makeup on, fake sweat. Uh, yeah, I don't know. There's a bit in the film where I had to come back after winter. So we shot in June, I think, or June, July in winter, and then I went back in October for I think it was one night just to get little stuff, and I cut my hair, and the director goes, "Have you lost weight?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You look a lot more slim on the face."
So you're going to have to go to the burger shop.
Well, we didn't really get my face in too much, but my hair, we had to put hair extensions in,
Oh,
curl it up and stuff. So yeah, it was. I was like, "Oh, sorry," but
they could have told you.
yeah, well, I didn't. I mean, I didn't think I would lose weight noticeably enough to lose weight. And the haircut, yeah, probably didn't need. Oh no, that's right. I got a haircut in Melbourne with the director, and we had photos of what I looked like before, and the chick just screwed it up, royally screwed it up.
Oh, okay, right. So it's her fault.
Yeah, 100%.
I blame her. So it only took 4 days.
4 days of shooting,
Right.
and then there was a week of stunt work prior to that.
You only did a week worth of stunt work.
Yeah, just learning how to fight, how to
Wow.
like all the moves, choreograph all the moves, and
Yeah.
kind of punch properly and stuff.
How was that?
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah, and the guys you're working with were like they'd work on movies like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think the first fight scene, I was with. We put like some pads on the other guy, and he's like, "You can just hit me as hard as you want, just to make it more real." And I was like, "All right, no worries." Like I didn't hit him as hard as I want, but he's like, "Don't be afraid to like get close, well, hit me and touch me and stuff." Because, and they can, well, I mean, obviously take hits and know how to react for it. But yeah, there was a few scenes where I would get hit in the face, and like it was not bad, but things where, oh shit, you're right. So yeah,
So you did get hit?
a few times, yeah. Nothing bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That must be like, I mean, coming back to what you do and crashing. I mean, you'd have this tolerance to, the physicality that comes with whether it is going down the snow or getting, I was going to say pretend hit.
Yeah, pretend it works. Yeah.
What surprised you about that whole process, but also about yourself during this time?
I think I guess what surprised me was how many people volunteered to help out when they were just all walks of life kind of came together. It was kind of just like an amazing movement of people who just wanted to volunteer for something and be there for this journey, and show up at ridiculous amounts of times in the night and stay to ridiculous amounts of times in the morning, for someone they hadn't met and who's a nobody, but for a concept that I think everyone believed in as well. So it was, and everyone was just there to kind of just, everyone was so passionate about the film and what we were creating. So that was really cool to see everyone there and just wanting to put in the best work that they could do for that, their little bit. What surprised me about myself, I don't know. I came up with when I got this original script from the producers or the producer directors, there was a few wheelchair stuff that I was like, nah, that's too lame, or that's like not going to work. And I was like, how about we do this? This can work. This will look cool. This is doable. We didn't want anything to be like, over the top or oh no, you can't do that with a wheelchair. So everything we did was real life, I guess. Nothing was over the top. I mean, there was things that were over the top, but nothing that was like fake enough that if someone in a wheelchair to my level would look and be like, oh yeah, that's doable for sure. So we wanted to put that aspect into it, and but not focus on that. Have that just like a an add-on, but just have the fighting kind of speak for itself. So yeah, it was. I can't wait for everyone to see it because it turned out so well.
Yeah. So you said potentially by the end of the year. Is that's the short film though? Because you said, I don't know if you mentioned this in today or the last time we spoke, but you're trying to make it a feature, like a full-length feature film.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're trying to get funding for a full feature movie.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a 14-minute proof of concept film that we're showing around to investors or film companies, or just to kind of see if anyone's interested. Whether they want me as the main actor, who knows? But I would like to be involved either as a consultant for the accessible or the wheelchair stuff. Yes, that'll look good. No, that won't. But I mean, I'd love to be the main actor too. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just say hypothetically, you get investors, and you're the main actor, or you're the star of the film.
Yep.
What happens to Italy 2026?
Well, hypothetically speaking,
yeah.
this will happen after 2026.
Okay, right. So I'm sorry. I didn't get that.
I think if we were to get investors, let's just say this year, it would probably take over a year to get everything sorted,
scripted and
script, actors. I don't know. I'm hoping because
that's what it'll be.
Exactly right. Yeah, there's no other way.
Exactly, that's it. So sorry, back to the original question. By the end of the year, and that's the short film that'll get released, and you're just trying to find a platform in which.
Yeah, we're trying to find the right platform to create as much exposure as possible.
Sure. Yeah. Is this something you see yourself doing post career?
I don't know. I don't know. I did love it. I really did love it. But I do need an acting coach because I wasn't the best. But I mean, if the opportunity comes and it can all work out, then
why not?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I have one last question, or just one last thing that I wanted to address, because I think it's really important, and I think it's something that we don't really, I mean, probably since 2020, it's been more in the media, especially when you have someone like Ellie Cole, campaigning for equal opportunities and equal pay. It's such a big thing, and I don't quite understand why para-athletes wouldn't be getting paid the same amount as an Olympic athlete doing the same type of events and whatnot. And as a spectator myself, embarrassingly, I only really started watching the Paralympics 2020 or 2021, because that's when they did them. Because I was in lockdown and I got to watch it and I got to see it and got hooked, and I really love it and I love watching it. So for me to, want to watch it and seek it out, there's going to be lots more people out there like myself.
Yeah.
For someone like you, I mean, I don't know, in terms of sponsorships, what you're getting paid. Do you get paid as a professional athlete? Like, how do you afford to be a professional athlete? And what do you think could and needs to change?
There's a lot to go into in this. Firstly, I understand Olympians and Paralympians get paid differently because of the amount of views they bring in, and Paralympic sport, I don't think, I mean, it's not as, or it's getting a lot better with viewers and streaming platforms showing it. Like when I was just started out skiing, world champs and world cups weren't live streamed, and now they are becoming more live streamed. So I think, and then it's the sponsors, like the TV time. If sponsors get time on TV, Paralympic events don't have as not. Well, in my understanding or my sport, there's not a lot of money compared to the able-bodied ski races. They've got millions of dollars to throw money at athletes and sponsorships because they have primetime TV air in Europe for the whole winter. And para skiing it's getting there, but it's obviously not there. So, I mean, I'm on, like, yes, I would love to get paid to ski and sponsorships and stuff. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I want to win a gold medal, really. And I love the sport. And then I also think that it'll, like you said, you started watching the Paralympics back in COVID times. So I think with people like Dylan Alcott, Ellie Cole, who was that? Kurt Fearnley, who are all trying to bring, I guess, the whole Paralympic movement into like normal TV viewing and normal sports. It's just like a normal sport. It's just, yeah, everyone's dealing with something else. I mean, everyone is dealing with something, whether you can see it or not. It is getting there, I think, and I think everyone are starting to watch parasport, understand it more, and kind of know people in the sport more. Yeah, I think it's getting there. It's definitely come a long way since I've been in the skiing. But yeah, it's definitely got a long way to go.
Yeah, it does. And I understand, in terms of the whole viewership thing.
Yeah.
But you can't get viewers if you're not putting it anywhere to be viewed.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of the point. Like,
yeah,
someone needs to step up and just say, this is the Olympics, this is the Paralympics. It needs to be viewed and or showed so that we can build the sports. And it was the same argument for, female sports and female football, and the same argument. There was no viewers, there's no money in it. Well, that's because you didn't show it, and then you started showing it, and now it's really growing.
So, I think it is really growing. Yeah, for sure. And I think Paris I think it was 50 days from till the Paralympic Games, and it's 27 days till the Olympics. So I think we're gonna see a lot of hype around the Olympics and then the Paralympics after that. I think it's it'll be, see how far we've come in 4 years.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Sam, this has been awesome. I have one more question for you, and then I'm going to throw it over to you to ask a question to the listener.
Yep.
So my last question is, what would you like listeners to think about when they are dealing with something hard, something that they feel is so big and all-consuming?
Yep. I go through my life where there's no bad days. I've had my trauma, I've been through my accident, and nothing can get as worse as I was back then. So I think if you're going through a hardship or a hard time, just think you're not gonna be put into a situation that you are not tough enough to get out of. And you're gonna come out of whatever situation that you're in stronger mentally, physically, than you were before, and you're going to be able to push through future hardships easier. I don't want to say easier, but maybe with a more clearer mental attitude, and no bad days.
No bad days. I love it. Awesome, Sam. And what's the question that you would want to ask this listener or have this listener think about today?
That's I've been trying to think about this question. It's got me. What's the question I want to ask your viewers? Are you happy? Are you happy with where your life is and where your life is going?
That's a pretty big question.
It is a good one.
That's a good one, and one that we need to ask ourselves a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I can dive into that a lot actually, but I don't think we have time for it.
Not right now.
Not right now. No.
Well, Sam, I do appreciate the time that you've given me. It's been really awesome chatting with you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
No, you're welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That was Sam Tait. I'm going to have some links in the show notes of his documentary. I'm going to link some there's some YouTube footage of him going down the slope. Do you call them slopes? Oh gosh, down the mountain, the snowy mountain. And I just think everyone needs to see what he does if you haven't already seen it, because it's spectacular and absolutely fucking nuts as well. So I'm going to have all those in the show notes so you can check him out. And of course, all his handles as well, the Instagram handle, and I think has a YouTube channel if you want to check him out doing some CrossFit. And of course, the Dancing with the Stars routine. You have to see that. It's beautiful. So I hope you really enjoyed that episode. I really loved chatting with him. I could ask a million more questions. I think he's such an extraordinary human being, and everything that he's already achieved in such a short time as well, I think is just, amazing. So if you loved this episode, please share it with your friends. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give it a 5-star rating, because as I said, all those things really help this podcast continue to grow, and it gives me purpose and meaning in life, because I really love chatting with these incredible people and sharing that with you. It lights my fire. So if you could spend 30 seconds to do that, I'd be forever grateful. As always, stay awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.